What's up, kids? Welcome to Wrestler Geeks. I'm your host, Justin Shaw.
And I'm the fox that rocks, Black Fox.
In this episode of Wrestler Geeks, we are going to cover SummerSlam, which occurred on August 19th, 2018.
AKA the biggest battle of the summer.
Yes. So let's start off this show talking about the kickoff matches. The first kickoff match was Andrade Cien Almas with Selena Vega versus Rusev and Lana.
A mixed tag team match.
I actually thought this was a good match, especially seeing Andrade Cien Almas wrestle. You know, he's formerly known as La Sombra from CMLL Lucha Libre. And not to mention, for all you kids out there, just so you know, he actually fought Shinsuke Nakamura at CMLL for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship. But that's being passed. I really do hope that in the future they do fight for either the Heavyweight Championship or the United States Championship in WWE.
I'm just happy he's not doing his Magic Mike impression anymore.
Yes, yo, I'm glad he got rid of his Magic Mike impersonation. I'm like, really, what was he trying to do? Do like a Spanish version of Magic Mike? But that being said, I'm just glad he got over that gimmick and he's sticking to his Lucha Libre roots, let's just say. Did you see the T-shirt?
The new one? I did kind of see it.
Yes, that shirt looked awesome.
It was okay. But, let's talk about the match.
Yes.
This was, for what it was worth, it was part of the kickoff match. But for me, I'm not going to lie. People are probably going to go against me on this. I think Lana has improved a little bit from when she first started.
I think so, too. Especially when she tried to slam Selena Vega.
Mm-hmm. I was just like, I'm not even going to lie. She caught her off guard. There were a few times she caught her off guard. Which, I'm not even going to give it. I'm taking nothing away from Selena Vega. Selena Vega's got, she's got a background in wrestling. She knows what she knows how to fight.
Yeah, I think she used to wrestle in
I think it was TNA.
Yeah, TNA.
Yeah, it's TNA.
But she had blonde hair at the time.
Yeah. I know the fact that, in the end, overall, she did manage to secure the pinfall the pinfall victory over with interference from CN, of course.
Yeah, she cheated in a way because she had her feet on the ropes.
She didn't actually have her feet on the ropes. She missed if anything, that was a botch. She missed the opportunity to put her foot on the ropes. If anything, I noticed that part. Because I was like, okay, she's going for that, but she couldn't, couldn't reach it. But in the end, she won, and it sucks because this is another thing that that means that we don't know what's gonna happen with Rusev and Lana now. Cause it's just
Aiden English.
Yeah, but he wasn't. See, I would have thought he would have interfered in this part of the match, but in the end, he really didn't. So going on, congratulations, Cien and Selena. Now let's move on to our next match. The Cruiserweight Championship match between Drew Gulag and Cedric Alexander. Now, going into this match, I gotta say, I do like what they're doing with Drew Gulag in a way.
Me too.
They definitely improved than when we were watching him acting like a dweeb. I don't want to go. No, I feel like let's go for politician.
Yeah,
his politician gimmick. It really, it did better because he showed that ferocity that he had, and he took it.
You're saying that his politician gimmick was better than his current gimmick?
No, I'm saying I like this gimmick better than his politician gimmick.
Okay.
Yeah, his politician gimmick was it wasn't even doing him anything. But, this side showed a more ferocious part of him. And, I ain't even gonna lie. I really honestly went into this thinking Cedric was gonna actually lose this one.
I thought so too. I actually thought Drew Gulag was actually gonna put Cedric Alexander on the Gulag and make him tap out and lose the belt.
Yeah, he did catch him, but Cedric turned it around, turned it into a pin.
Yeah, he did a counter pin.
Yeah, another counter pin,
which allowed him to retain the cruiserweight belt.
You gotta give him credit though. It was definitely. I definitely like the fact that Gulag was going in there ferociously, but now you gotta figure out what's gonna happen now. Because I'm gonna be for real throughout the entire thing. I really honestly thought it was gonna be Gulag that ends up taking the belt from him.
Me too.
But I guess they're saving it for somebody else.
I knew because my prediction was Gulag was somehow going to put Cedric Alexander on the Gulag and make him tap out. That was it. But me personally, this was a good match. This was a good match to have as part of the kickoff. Yeah.
Well, I personally would have liked it to be on the main show because, to be honest,
I
don't think they're giving the cruiserweight division any type of love whatsoever.
I will have to agree on that.
It's I feel like there's something more that you could do with it, but that's we got time until.
And it didn't make any sense because I remember they were doing this for a while, having the cruiserweight division on Raw.
Mm-hmm.
But congratulations to Cedric Alexander on retaining the cruiserweight belt. I think we had this discussion before. I still think Mustafa Ali should go for the cruiserweight belt, or Buddy Murphy. I like Buddy Murphy.
Yeah, I do. I actually do too. I like what they're doing with Buddy Murphy right now. But we gotta wait and see. Now that Gulag's lost, it definitely could go anyway. Heck, it could even be Leo Kruger the way they're pushing him. Well, let me just correct myself actually on this one. I meant Leo Rush. I apologize.
Yes, Leo Rush.
Leo Rush.
Cruiserweight.
Yeah.
You want
I meant Leo
Rush.
Yes. I just remember. I just thought I was just like, wait, Leo Kruger wasn't he Adam Rose?
You said Leo Kruger?
It happens.
You've been watching too many Freddy Krueger movies.
No, Leo Kruger. Before he was Adam Rose, he was Leo Kruger.
Really?
Yeah, that's why.
Oh, so from Freddy Krueger, he got the name from Lilo and Stitch.
Oh my God.
But
let's go on to
the third
just like your jokes. Let's go on to the B team status of this. The B team.
Saying my jokes stink. Never mind.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
But the third match of the kickoff was Curtis Axel with Bo Dallas,
aka the B team,
versus the Revival, Dash and Dawson. Now let me say one thing about Dash and Dawson. Dash and Dawson, they act like, I don't know how old they are in real life, but let's just say they're in their 30s.
Mm-hmm.
They're like 30-year-old men trapped inside, I don't know, they're like 10-year-olds trapped inside 30-year-old bodies. They're like Beavis and Butthead, if you might say. Because it seems like all they do is going around pulling pranks on other wrestlers. They seem like the type of guys, like, that old school prank where they put like a bucket of water on the door and you open it and it just splashes all over you?
Mm-hmm.
They seem like the type of wrestlers that would do that in the locker room.
Wasn't it the fact that they were beating them up more than playing pranks? Maybe I missed that. I'm just like, I don't know.
I don't know, but every time when I see the Revival, they're always, sneaking behind and attacking one tag team or pulling off a prank.
Well, I'm not even going to lie to you. I honestly thought that this is going to be the time they finally get the belt because they have been going through a bit of a dry spell. But, hey, I'm kind of happy for Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas because if you think about it, you got to remember, they were part of
the Miztourage.
Yeah, before that they were part
Jobbers.
of the social outcasts. And now they're, finally getting a chance. They finally got tag team gold. And they're finally, in a way, stepping up and showing that they're actually a decent tag team. And, I'm giving them... I've always liked Bo Dallas in the sense of what he could do. And if you give him the right storyline, he could be an incredible champion.
I always thought he could be well-rounded as far as creative-wise.
Yeah, example.
I don't know about Curtis Axel.
Curtis Axel could do it, but as I said, it all depends on what you do with him. But either way, congratulations to these guys for their win. B team, congratulations on retaining your championship. All the more to you guys. Hope you keep it for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So let's move on. We move on, ladies and gentlemen, from the kickoff to the main card. And how do you start the show for the main card for SummerSlam? You burn it down. Yeah. So, we start off the match with, of course, Seth Rollins alongside his Shield brother, Dean Ambrose.
Cleaner and meaner.
Versus Drew McIntyre, Dolph Ziggler.
With Drew McIntyre.
For
the Intercontinental.
Yep. All for the Intercontinental title. And if you've actually watched all the matches that have been happening so far between Dolph and Seth, you got to realize they've actually put on phenomenally good matches like throughout this entire feud. But it was always Drew that was the deciding factor in it that always helped Dolph win. And the point of this was, now that Dean was back, things were equal. And I gotta say, throughout this match, like it really was looking like it really was an equal moment. Like they were going off here. First off, we got Dean coming in here looking like he about to beat some head, and he was a lot more calmer in the beginning than I expected. I was expecting him to attack. Drew from the get-go, but he kept his cool about it. And then we got Seth Rollins coming in here looking like Thanos. I'm just saying. I was trying to figure out if he was going to try and... I couldn't tell if he was going to super kick Dolph or he was going to snap his fingers and make him, disappear. But nonetheless, I got to give him credit, though. He was doing what he can. And, in the end, Drew did try to get involved. And in the end, Dean got involved.
Yeah.
It got to the point.
I'm glad Dean Ambrose is back in action after a long injury he had. Looking a lot cleaner, a lot meaner, and jacked up.
Yeah. Just saying. And, afterwards, you got to give credit, though, for what it's worth. Even though how the match ended, these two put on a phenomenal match. And we don't know if the feud's going to continue, but, you got to do it. But we have to do this right. We have to do this right now. And now, your new Intercontinental Champion, Mr. Burn It Down,
Seth freaking
Rollins. Yeah.
All right.
Oh man! Congratulations, Seth. Hope you keep it for long.
Hey, the belt actually looks good on you.
Oh, of course. I think it might just, if he throws out one of his challenges, I just might show up and, take that real quick. But
you're retired after fighting Demonic Dragon.
I'm not retired yet. I'm still gonna get my belt back. He knows that. Anyway, on to the next match. We have the SmackDown Team Championships between New Day and the champions, the Bludgeon Brothers. Now, throughout this if you've looked at their entire run, I honestly feel like no one's physically been able to really, truly
stop the Bludgeon Brothers?
Or at least rival them to that extent. And you have to give credit for what it's worth. The New Day, when they first, fought against the Bludgeons, they didn't do so well. It didn't showcase. It showed the fact that they were, not. What's the word? That the Bludgeons were basically that dominant. Okay. But in the beginning of this match, they showed that they were doing what they had to do. They got their win. They got they got the battle and everything. And the point of the matter is, it got to the point where Big E truly stepped up his game up and just started showcasing dominance.
I actually thought, this was a good match, but I wanted to see a bit more action with the New Day against the Bludgeon Brothers, You know, I want to see more action with those two tag teams.
Agreed.
But what I didn't like was the outcome of the match, where Luke Harper and Eric Rowan simply just pull out their hammers and they started, you know, hitting the New Day, especially Big E. I felt bad for Big E. Getting a sledgehammer to the ribs.
Mm-hmm.
And then once they pulled out those hammers and started hitting all the members of the New Day, that was it. They still retained the belts. I think the only way, like, if the feud with the New Day and Bludgeon Brothers is still going on, which more likely it will for quite some time, the only way they could settle this, if this was like a no DQ match.
Possibility, tornado tag or something. Hardcore. You gotta wait and see. I definitely think that it would definitely be... I definitely think that there's going to be a part 2 of this feud.
I think so too, but like I said, in part 2, the next match should be like a no DQ match or some sort of hardcore match against the New Day and the Bludgeon Brothers for the tag championships.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only way the Bludgeon Brothers could lose the tag belts.
Yeah, it's possible.
But with that being said,
we move on.
Yeah, let's congratulate the Bludgeon Brothers, Luke Harper and Eric Rowan.
Congratulations, gents.
Obtaining the tag championships, even though they cheated by hitting the members of the New Day with the hammers.
Hey man, they got the job done, sadly, as much as they can do.
Felt bad for Big E, but Big E seems to be in good recovery.
Mm-hmm. Now, we move on to the next portion of our match, which...
I can't even consider this a match. This wasn't even a match.
I mean, it was.
Strowman versus Kevin Owens. I mean, the stipulation was interesting. The stipulation was interesting. But the match itself, to me, it wasn't even a match because Braun Strowman simply was just throwing Kevin Owens around.
Well, let's talk about it first. The stipulation that happened was if Braun Strowman lost, Kevin Owens would get his Money in the Bank contract. So we all went in there thinking, you know, there's a small possibility. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people didn't believe that Kevin Owens is going to win this. Like, I think a lot of us were thinking. But the idea of him actually winning it was interesting in the sense that you were wondering how he could pull it off. Like, I honestly thought when going into this fight that he might, one way for him to win was for him to get himself disqualified. Or like Braun.
I was hoping, even though Braun Strowman was probably going to catch him, that Kevin Owens was going to do his famous Flock Splash, plancha.
Yeah, you know that wasn't going to happen. My whole thing was, as I said, the whole thing is, I thought like...
It's like he just took him and threw him, like, remember what were those things called? That they were like pillows, but they were shaped like wrestlers back in the day.
Oh, I know what you're talking about now.
Wrestling buddies. Remember the wrestling buddies?
Yeah.
Yo, Braun Strowman was throwing Kevin Owens like a wrestling buddy.
I was going to say he threw him like a sack of potatoes, but okay, let's go.
That too, but the match didn't even last 20 minutes. It only lasted like less than 5 minutes.
Well, I mean, you know, they needed another match, and it's just, you know, they need to do something with Braun. I'm just saying the whole thing was, you knew going into this that that Braun was going to win. I mean, but yeah, I honestly thought
he was going to win, and he still was going to retain his Money in the Bank contract.
My whole thing was I thought, like, Kevin was going to try to get him so angry that he gets himself disqualified, hence getting him win the match. But in the end, they just made it a point of, once again, Braun manhandling Kevin. But I guess in a way, this was to basically make the point that Braun was relevant, especially since later on, he did make an appearance later on. But, you know, if anything, congratulations to Braun Strowman for retaining his Money in the Bank contract.
He still retains the Money in the Bank contract.
I mean, let's be for real.
Rumor has it, he might cash it in at the next pay-per-view. Yeah, I don't want to...
Gotta wait and see.
Yeah, we have to wait and see, because anything could change from now until the next pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, let's move on to our next match, which would be the women's match. One of the women's matches, the triple threat match between Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair and the champion Carmella.
Yeah, this was for the SmackDown Women's Championship.
Yep, and you know what? I ain't even gonna lie. When I first heard about this, I honestly thought this didn't need to happen. Like, I didn't think Charlotte needed to be introduced because I felt like Becky Lynch had been doing so well. She didn't need this. She didn't need like this whole thing. But then I saw the match and I understood why you needed to add Charlotte into it. But let's talk about before we talk about what happened afterwards. Let's talk about throughout the entire match. You know, I'm gonna say this right now. Give her for what it's worth. Carmella definitely made this interesting.
Carmella got her butt whooped.
Well, yes, I'm not going to.
She deserved it.
Okay.
And she's not fabulous.
That's harsh. That's just disrespectful. She's a New York native like us. Come on, at least give some respect.
She's not a New York native.
She's from Staten Island. That's part of New York.
She's from Staten Island.
Okay. The point of the matter remains
She's from Boston.
Hate her raid. Anyway, the point of the matter remains is the fact that despite what it was, she made this match basically. She made the match interesting in the sense that she got Becky and Charlotte to kind of semi-turn on each other throughout the entire points of the bouts. Like, there were moments where basically Becky thought Charlotte had attacked her, and she like got around and she started beating up Charlotte. And Charlotte, for what it's worth, she showed that as long she's the queen, athletic capability and everything. She did a thing. And you know what? There were moments when I really honestly was rooting for Becky to actually get that.
I actually wanted Becky to win the belt.
I did too, because I felt like
I wanted Carmella to get her butt whooped, which she did, and I wanted Becky Lynch to win the belt. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Sad to say, she came up short.
Yeah.
And Charlotte Flair became the Raw Women's Champion.
SmackDown.
SmackDown Women's Championship.
Mm-hmm.
So, why don't you tell the kids the aftermath?
So, in the aftermath, Becky snapped. Becky, you know, she knocked her out. She knocked out her best friend, beat her up and everything. And I'm gonna be for real, I don't normally agree with heel tactics. Like, I understand why they're done, but like, in a sense, Becky finally turned heel. And you know what? A lot of us, in a way, we kind of wanted that. I guess it shows that WWE was listening. And I'm okay with this. Don't get me wrong, I love Becky Lynch. I met her in person. She's a really, really lovely person. The whole thing is, though, I guess to make her more, I guess that's the word, not relevant, but more. To
get more of a push?
I guess, in a way. They needed to do that. They needed to turn the whole feud on its head in a way. And you know what? I'm fine with that because, let's be for real,
I'm glad she turned heel.
Carmella wasn't, I'm not going to lie, Carmella wasn't doing it. Like, Carmella wasn't able to do that. And I'm not hating on Carmella. It's just, you know, there was more of a story, especially if you look at their matches, that I believe Becky could actually beat Charlotte. She's done it before. And the question is, you know, will she eventually do the chance and defeat her? And you know what? Gotta wait and see. Congratulations, though, Charlotte.
I gotta say congratulations to Becky Lynch for turning heel.
If anything else, you know, let's see where the story goes. We're unfortunately, we don't have enough time to cover all the matches, but we will be doing that in our part 2 of our segment. So, you know, I hope you all enjoyed this part of the moment. We will see you in part 2.
We're almost out of time, so I want to thank everyone for watching. Don't forget to watch us next time as we cover more matches from SummerSlam's 2008 Barclays Center. And don't forget, kids, to please feel free to email me at ShawJustin576@gmail.com.
You can find me at followthefox777@gmail.com.
Once again, this is Wrestler Geeks. Have fun, be safe, and don't get into
any fights.
We'll see you next time.